good, we straight, looking right, shirt straight. Yeah. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. Well, rising family, welcome to another edition of Your Reminder to Self. I am Pharaoh Brown, aka Ahmad Brown, aka that meditating guy, aka you. So, for today's edition of Reminder to Self, I want to give you an old school hit. I'll give you one of them old school tracks. We're going to bring it all the way back and we're going to church. There's a very popular scripture that is 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. And that scripture says, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I acted as a child, I had childish ways. But I eventually grew up and I put away those childish things. Now this Bible verse is pretty much spot on. This is a very universal application for all of us. We all have to mature, we all have to get better, we all gotta grow. Well, actually, we ain't got to do nothing. But for those of us who are interested in making sure that we get the most out of our experience while we're on this earth, becoming more mature is actually one of the most profound and one of the most spiritual things we actually can do. You know, a lot of times when dealing with spiritual things or even dealing with religious things, a lot of times we get simply caught up in the wonderful show of majesty, or magic, where someone can manifest something out of thin air, where there's a prophetess in the house and she can read you and tell you where you came from and what's going on with you, where you want to get on your altar and do all of these really cool things and yada 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 yada. All of that stuff is dope. All of those things are cool. But guess what? Everybody has power. Everybody has the ability to do magic. Everybody can make something out of nothing. But can you mature is the question. And when we talk about maturity, we're actually talking about you and your consciousness and you taking on full responsibility for everything that is happening to you. A lot of times we find ourselves not being mature because we are still putting the blame on others for the things that happen to us, even if they are rightfully assigned blame. Yeah, you were in that relationship and old buddy betrayed you out of the blue. And you literally had no idea that it was coming because you were doing everything that you were supposed to do in that relationship. But guess what? There were gaps that existed there and there were blind spots that existed there. And you are the arbiter for that whole destruction because you participated in some aspect of that relationship that caused it to fall asunder. Being mature and applying that Bible verse will keep you in the mindset and the perspective that you had something to do with it, that you had a part to play, that you are the creator of your own demise. But being immature, you can just simply fall back and say, hey, it was the other person's fault. I did everything that I needed to do. Yada, yada, yada. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. You're not a victim. You're not a child. If you are a child in the truest sense of the word, that means you do not have full control over yourself. You do not have full control of your emotions. You do not have full control over your reactions to things. But if we are being consistent here in our spiritual growth, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the maturity to be in full control of what we're doing, of how we're acting, how we're responding to things, so that we can get the most out of our power. Because whether you agree or disagree, the truth of the matter is, if you are in a bottled up state of mind, if you are in an immature, very flighty, very aggressive, very reactive state of mind, you are not tapping into the true fulfillment or the fullest expression of all of the power that you have within you. Because the true power that you have within you has to be molded and fashioned so it can ultimately be compacted down into a dynamo worth of energy that can be directed at anything and create instant change. But if you are not being mature to contain your energy, to contain your reactions, to bottle up all of those things that you literally feel within you, surging within you, you will never be able to transmit it out and to bring some change. You will never be able to codify it and put it out there into the world into a particular form. You want to know another version of maturity? Think about it like this, from the example of running a business. Running a business and creating a business entity and identity for yourself out in the world requires high level of maturity, high level of spiritual acumen. If you are out there, especially in the social media space, and you have a business, you will get hundreds of thousands of comments in your chats, in your boxes, in your posts. And if you look at all of those posts, not all of them are, "Yay, I love your product. Yay, your company is great." There's just as much critique. There's just as much shit talking. There's just as much disastrous language and destructive language and people trying to sway others away from your product or from the business's product. If you are in an immature state, and yes, even though you're spiritually powerful and you could make jars and you can make honeys and you can make tinctures and you can make XYZ, or if you in church and you can worship and you can sing and you give your offering and pay your tithe and you feel like you have prayed up and da-da-da-da-da, if you are still in this mindset to where you do not have enough control over what you react to, when you make that post of your business and you get all of the reactions, you can begin to go and respond. And instead of responding to all of the things that build up your business, that build up your reputation, that expands your territory, that expands your appeal, that expands your magnetism, you go and you jump right in and reply to all of the things that are misaligned energies, that are corrupted energies, that are imbalanced energies, that are designed or aimed at you for your destruction. And as opposed to you simply dodging, bobbing, and weaving so you can go on with your course, you slow yourself down. You bring your vibration from this high place and you literally slow yourself down so that you can sit on the side of the road and gossip back and react back and spend all of your energy trying to come against something that doesn't even need your attention. And so because all of this wasted time, this wasted energy, this wasted effort, you have potentially put yourself out there and messed up your image that you were trying to create, that you were trying to cultivate, that is supposed to be a show of your maturation, a show of your spiritual astuteness. And you throw all of it out the window, or you at least put all of it on the back burner and put it all on the side, put it all on the shelf. And you go from this very mature place that is going to be great for building you up, and you temporarily put yourself in a vibration of destruction, put yourself in a vibration of disdain, put yourself in a vibration to where you're simply not getting the most out of whatever it is you're trying to create. And that's what they're talking about in the scripture, and that's what they're talking about with maturity. That's what they're talking about with spiritual astuteness and being able to manifest and being able to pray and have things come to you. Whatever tradition you come from, maturity is the key to making sure that it happens. Maturity and exercising said maturity in real time, that is actually how you bring forth the word transformation that we all hear about in the spiritual communities. You say, "Oh, where's my transformation? I'm supposed to transform." You think you're supposed to just sit there at your altar and pour some sage over you, that's how the transformation comes? You think you're supposed to just go to church and listen to the sermon, that's how the transformation comes? No, the transformation comes when you actually go out daily and apply the shift that you need. This is all energy. You have an energetic template within you that, yes, can be immature, that there can be certain aspects of yourself that you have not molded yet, that you have not taken control of yet, and that's perfectly fine. But the only way you're going to be able to take control of these things, the only way that you're going to be able to level up, the only way that you're going to get a change of behavior is if you literally go out and engage the things that stimulate you and begin to practice and demonstrate a different response, a controlled response, a reflective response, a response that is tangibly different from what you were doing before. That's when you start to begin to see the power and feel the power raising up in you, because you are literally doing that compacting, doing the cultivating, doing the shifting and the molding of the energy. When you go out into the world and take a grasp of everything that you are feeling, thinking, and doing, That's when you have entered into maturity. That's when you have left behind the childish things. And so, think about it for yourself. Childish things are not just if you are a male and you have the propensity to play your Xbox or your PlayStation. Being immature and childish is playing those things when you know you gotta go to work and making yourself late for work when you should have put the game down. Immaturity is not the fact that you want to give yourself, to a man and just lose yourself completely in love and love is supreme and everything else like a little girl. No, that's not the problem. The problem is when you put your head in the sand and ignore all the red flags that a man has been giving you because you want the situation more than you want yourself to be safe. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about maturity. This is what we're talking about when we refer to that Bible verse and it talks about putting away your childish things. This is what we talk about in the spiritual community when we say you're spiritually astute or you have become a master of something. If there's anything to become a master of, it is yourself. And that's what the phrase know thyself actually comes from. That is the original leave behind childish things. Learn yourself. Know what you're strong at. Know what you're weak at. And embrace every single part of you. And then begin going out into the world, cultivating and shaping yourself so that you can get everything that you need out of everything you get yourself into. So, be more mature, people. This is your reminder to self. So, be more mature, people. This is your reminder to self.